Why History Matters by Christy Champion. I chose to read No Place Like Home, A History of Nursing and Home Care in the United States by Karen Buehler Wilkerson. No Place Like Home set out to determine why home care is still remains a marginalized alternative to an expensive institutionalized care. Karen Buehler Wilkerson traces the history of home care from its beginnings in the 19th century through a time where home care nearly disappeared and then came back in the 1960s when a new economic mandate and new professionals, as in doctors, nurses, brought professional home care back to the forefront. I felt like the book gave very special attention to the dangerous sick, particularly the poor immigrants with infectious disease such as typhoid, tuberculosis, and she gave special attention to the climate of the racial struggles during the 19th century and the struggles that were present in both the North and the South. Um, History as a pedagogy. This shapes our identity and as individuals as well as professionals. Corfield suggests that history shapes our self-definition and relationship with our community. One of the things in this book that I found very profound was even in the 19th century, nurses were not only expected to be nurses to their patients, but also expected to nurse their community, to have a relationship and build trust within their community. One, it's important for nurses to know what nurses have accomplished and where the profession is going. It's important for self-understanding. Gampa, I think, had it right when she stated we not only need to think about the past, but to also see ourselves as the inheritors of the legacy of the past, but the makers of the future. You know, we all have very important parts to play in the history of nursing. The picture I included in the bottom is actually one from No Place Like Home. Is a visiting nurse kind of going into the tenement situation, telling a new mother how to care for a baby, just giving basic care, basic sick care. History as an evidence. History as evidence gives a voice, dispels myths, and bears witness to nursing. We must understand the work that nurses before us have completed, or the worth of that work is lost. We can learn from the mistakes or missteps of those before us is something that Nelson thought was important that we understand. You know, it's important that we look at mistakes or missteps not as just mistakes, but also as opportunities to kind of look and see, you know, this did not work for them. You know, we can learn from those mistakes. Nelson also felt that a good history can challenge our assumptions about our contemporary selves by seeing ourselves in a new light. And then history as an explanation provides a explains and provides a way to look forward. Um, what happens in the present is not an accident. It's happened in the past, and that's from D'Antonio and Fairman in 2010. History can give us a perspective that provides a richer understanding of the past. It can help us decide what worked and what did not work and why. One of the things that this book helped me see as a nurse who practices in public health is, you know, there are many different ways that you can look at the history of nursing. Everyone has a different perspective, and we can all bring those to the table and you know, certainly look at and see why those did work and what they didn't work. It doesn't have to be, well, this is the way it's always been. You know, we can use the evidence from past projects, past history, I think of Lillian Wald, who, placed herself in the Henry Street with no grand theory of her own. Just, she saw that these people needed a help and decided that she was going to help. And, made the Henry Street settlement, changed the history of nursing, made public health nursing, I feel like she's a big proponent of what public health nursing is today. So, I feel like each one of these categories is important, and that's why history matters. Thanks.